In this episode, we look back at a talk that I gave to Wye River Upper School, and it's my top 10 tips for career success, and we're starting right now. Hey 1% Nation, I'm Jake Voorhees, and you are watching the 1% Engineer Show, where we empower young engineers to rise to the top 1% of their career. And if this is your first time here, guys, make sure you subscribe because I release videos 2 times a week for engineering success. And if you want the 1% Engineer Kit and access to the Facebook group, follow the link in the description. And if you have a question, a pain point, a struggle, a concern, an issue in your engineering journey right now, comment below and I can make a video just for you. And without further ado, guys, let's jump right into this top 10 tips so you can crush it in your career. Enjoy. What's up, guys? My name is Jake Voorhees. I'm an engineer and I spend most of my time doing stuff like this. Student mentorship, helping people figure out what they want to do for the rest of their life, how to be successful in college, and how to really have a happy life and pursue the career of their dreams. And I spend a ton of time putting videos on YouTube, helping students with this. Have a community of about a couple thousand engineers, but really this advice can apply to anything that you guys are doing, anything, okay? So really quickly, I'd like to start with this. Show of hands, who kind of has an idea of what they want to do for the rest of their life? Raise your hand if you kind of have an idea of what you want to do for some sort of career. What do you got? Something math? Great, love it, because I'm an engineer. What do we got? Film, love it. Aerospace engineering, love it. What do you got? What is it? Electrical, anything in sort of electrical field? Sure you're tinkering with stuff right now. What do we got? Nursing? Computer science, love it. Love it, awesome.
Private military.
Love it. Good. So, kind of just helps me get an idea. So before we get started, guys, before we talk about career stuff, before we talk about the top 10 tips that you guys can do to be successful in your life, we'll start with a story, and we're going to have you guys close your eyes, okay? Everybody close your eyes. Close your eyes. If you're not, I'm going to call you out and make you sing. So envision somebody who is, we'll call it a child, but about half the age that you are right now, okay? Now, I want you to envision somebody that you look up to in your life right now, a celebrity, an athlete, a professional, whatever, and envision them when they were that age, half the age that you are right now. Most of these people that you look up to right now, or you know about, in the group earlier, I used the example Jake Paul, okay? Everybody knows who he is, all right? Everybody knows who he is, all right? All right? You may think about this person today and say, oh, they had everything given to them. He got on the Disney Channel just because he was on the Disney Channel. And he didn't have to, close your eyes, he didn't have to overcome any adversity, he didn't have any challenges, he didn't have any hurdles in his life. But a lot of these people that you may be thinking of, successful people, famous people, celebrities, athletes, most of them came from a place that was just like here. They came from not massive advantages, and they probably had to overcome what we might call some sort of learning disability, some sort of challenge, some sort of struggle, some sort of obstacle. But most of these people, they overcame all of that, and they were successful anyway. Michael Phelps, OCD, ADHD. You have Richard Branson, who founded the Virgin Group. He started 300 companies in his life. He is dyslexic. He has all types of challenges with learning and all the things that you guys are doing right now as students. But he found a way to overcome those. He followed his dreams, and he changed the world. And now, guys, I want you to think about how this can be you. The same stuff applies to you guys in your life, no different than these people who had massive success. And as long as you work really hard and you follow your dreams and you surround yourself with greatness, you guys can do all this too. So you can open your eyes now. And I'm pretty much a story of that. I came from right here on the Eastern Shore of Maryland. No big advantages, but if you follow all this stuff, you can figure it out and have a happy life. But it starts with this, guys, okay? How many of you have heard some sort of situation that says, oh, I want to do aerospace engineering, or someone that you chatted with, maybe not you, and they say, well, I want to do that because it makes a lot of money. I want to be a computer scientist because it makes a lot of money. I want to do biological research because it makes a lot of money. How often have you guys heard something like this? A lot, right? Very commonly. Would you say that most of your peers have some attachment to this? Right? Yeah. You guys need to throw that away, okay? Because look at all the people that are crazy successful in this world today. They're not all engineers and scientists and celebrities. You can be successful. You can find a way to have an impact, a way to change the world, no matter what you're doing. But it starts with following your heart. It starts with finding a way to have a good impact. It starts with creating meaning. Because if you can create meaning, you will probably have your microscopic way of changing the world. And if you change the world, you will probably also make money. But if you start with the sole desire to make money, you probably won't change the world. You won't make meaning. You won't be able to impact others, and you will probably fail. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about the money stuff. The money comes if you're in a field where you are good enough, where you can have enough passion and have enough success to then make money. It's a secondary effect. And along the way, when you're trying to figure out what it exactly is that you guys want to do for the rest of your lives, I know it's very hard to think about what you want to major in college, community college, if you're going to go to that trade school, spend all this time, or maybe not even go to a school, that's okay too. But the term hummingbirding is my favorite way to describe what you can do to figure out what that thing is. Everybody knows what a hummingbird is. How many flowers do you think a hummingbird encounters in their life? How many? How many? Millions, probably. Yeah, I don't know, but it's a lot. Okay? And they don't exactly know when they get started what their favorite flower is. What's your favorite color? Who's got a favorite color? What is it? What's your favorite color? Is it blue? What are you wearing right now? It may not have always been blue, though. It takes time to figure out what you like. It takes time to figure out what it is that actually makes you tick. So it's okay to explore. It's okay to dabble with things and tinker with hobbies. It's okay to not exactly know. I'm still figuring it out. See this camera? I'm recording this. I haven't been messing with cameras forever, but it was this chain reaction of things that I could have never, ever expected. Never. Okay? So you have to figure it out. You have to hummingbird around. You have to just trust that you're going to be able to connect the dots and figure out what you like. And the only way to do that is you actually have to do stuff. You actually have to build stuff, make stuff, create stuff. You can't just talk about how, oh, I want to be a great guitarist. Okay? Inspiration is cool, but inspiration with action is much, much better. You have to make stuff, you have to do stuff, you have to build stuff. That's exactly how you're going to figure out if you like that thing that's worth pursuing for the rest of your life. And there's other baked-in advantages that I didn't mention to the group before, but if you're doing stuff, if you're making stuff, if you're building stuff, you're creating a portfolio to get into college, to get into that company that you want to work for, to have a successful trade school route. Whatever it is that you end up doing, you have to be showing your ambition, you have to be building up expertise, you have to be doing stuff. Inspiration is great, but inspiration with action is way better. And lots of people build stuff. Who right now works on some sort of creative projects? They either draw, they make stuff, they build stuff, they do stuff, they play music, they do something that is more beyond watching TV. Raise your hand if you do something, if you do something. If you make something, if you do something. It can be a digital thing, it can be a physical thing if you do stuff. Great. Okay, now, here's the kicker though. How many people take that work and they put it somewhere where other people can see it? Great. Give me an example. How are you showing your work right now?
Maps.
Yeah? And how can people find it?
Instagram.
Awesome. It's one of the best ways. Instagram was not around when I was your age, and I'm so jealous of you guys because you live in the best time ever. The easiest time to show your work and share what you're working on. Somebody else had some hands up. What are you working on? How are you showing it? Sports? And are you putting that on your Instagram? It's okay, but how are you showing that you're an athlete? Just being as active as possible, right? Awesome. What do you got? Sorry? Artist? And how are you sharing it? How are you showing it? Sorry? You tell people, you talk about it, right? Awesome. Who else? Who else is working on stuff, building stuff, making stuff, and they are putting it out there so people can find it? Yeah? What do you guys got? Great. Businessman right here. Entrepreneur. Love it. What do you got? Awesome. I love Reddit. I find so many engineers on Reddit. But this is crazy important, guys, and I didn't talk too much about personal brand before, but who knows what this means? Who knows what personal brand means? Anybody? I know someone has heard this before. One of the freshmen or sophomores knew what it was, so they're one-upping you right now. What do we got? Who has heard of this phrase, personal brand? Yeah? What it means is that if you are an artist, if you are a musician, if you're an athlete, or if you are working on something that you know you want to study in college, when people think about you, if that's the first thing they think about, that you're an artist, you're a musician, you're a creative, you're whatever, that is you being a personal brand. And the only way you get to that is if you share the stuff that you're working on. You're talking about it. You're building a portfolio. You're showing your ambition. You're actually figuring out what you like, and you're showing your work. This is so important. So many people are terrified to put themselves out there and to put videos on YouTube or put their art on Instagram. I've met so many amazing artists who are terrified to put it on Instagram. You have to do this. You have to do this. You're doing yourself a massive disservice if you don't put your creations, your work, out there to be found. So I'm going to shift gears a little bit, guys, and we're going to pause on career trajectory and just talk about overall success and the stuff that I think is crazy important for you to be successful in general, and that's to learn to communicate. And that's not building some sort of contraption in your bedroom. We're really just trying to figure out how to public speak. That has taken me years and years to be able to do this with you guys. It's really hard. But just have interpersonal communication ability in general, okay? That you should use any excuse to ask questions in class, to not just send an email or send a text message when you can call someone, and to be a group leader, or to work in groups in general, or to speak up and build relationships with your professors. And later on, when you're in college, community college, when you're starting your career, have a good relationship with your boss. Don't be afraid. Just walk right into their office. Communicate. Because at the end of the day, guys, you are always in the people business, and you will only have greater and greater opportunities if you build relationships with people who can provide you with those opportunities. And the only way you build a relationship with people is if you communicate. I'm sure you guys have friends in this room. I see you guys, I can sense it. You guys have friends. You have created social bonds with each other. The way that you create friendships is through communication, right? But it's easy to talk to your peers. It's easy to talk to your friends. It's not always easy to talk to your bosses. It's not always easy to be a group leader. But these are the things that you should always be thinking about and honing and working on, because I wasn't the best student, didn't get the best grades. Now you might see me up here with this jacket on and think that, just like Jake Paul, it's always been a success. But you have to build the relationships in order to get opportunities. It wasn't through grades. It wasn't through SAT scores or anything else that got me into college. It was people believing in me and having relationships with people. It is so key. And the only way you get there is through communication. So, this famous person named Jim Rohn, and he created this concept, if you ever heard of mastermind, or who has heard of the concept of the apple doesn't fall far from the tree? Who's heard of this? Who's heard of this? Yeah. Well, the stuff that your parents say is true, okay? You guys actually become the average of all the people that you spend the most time with. You may look at a clique of friends. You may look at a sports team. You may look at people that you admire. Like, I don't know if Jake Paul is to be hated on. I love using him as an example because you always get a reaction. But all those people that hang out with Jake Paul, they're just like Jake Paul, okay? You become who you hang out with the most. So if this was a working environment, people who are closer to my age, I'd be a little bit more ruthless here and say you should try and spend more time with the people who can make you more successful and less time with the people who you're not sure if they're actually going to do their homework. You're not sure if they're going to be on the sports team next year and things like this. But the angle is this, guys. You should always be encouraging the people around you. Make sure that you're that good friend. Make sure that of the people who are your best friends, that you are one of these 4 people who are uplifting and encouraging them to follow their dreams. You have to make sure that you are being supportive of your network, because that's really the only way you're going to get it in return. So make sure you're spending time with good people, and make sure that you are being the best possible friend, brother, family member, whatever it is, for the people around you, so that you all can be successful together. Okay, this gets back to career stuff. Trajectory, success. You need to learn to love to fail. I love to fail. And it's taken me 15 years to figure that out. Because when I played Little League, when I was a little bit younger than you are today, every time I would strike out, I would cry. Cry. Terrible. Cry baby, okay? Terrible. It's taken forever. But the smartest people in the world, they know that whatever they believe today, if they can continue to disprove it, if someone can prove them wrong, doesn't mean that you were wrong. It doesn't mean that you failed. It means that you are smarter right now If you proved yourself wrong, whatever you believed yesterday, if you're constantly proving yourself wrong, failing, getting better, testing, failing, getting better, then you are ascending. You are going to find massive success. But you have to learn to love it. You have to embrace it because it's risky to try something and fail. You might have wasted your time. You might get hurt. You might not like that team, that musical instrument. You might waste your time. But the only way to figure out what that thing is that you should be doing, how to find massive success, you're going to fail many, many, many times to get there. And you might not even try if you're afraid of failing. You have to try stuff. You have to try stuff. You can't be afraid of failing. So, Thomas Edison, what did he do? That's right. How many times do you think he iterated? How many designs do you think Edison created before the light bulb actually worked? Take a guess. Hundreds. It's pretty good. Anyone else have a guess? Any guesses? Sorry?
Electricity thing is Tesla.
He created direct current, but Edison kind of refined that to create alternating current, which we use mostly. And Tesla does not deserve the type of credit that he has today. Tesla does not get the type of credit that he should. But I have this conversation a lot. I'm glad you know about Tesla. Edison had 10,000 designs. 10,000. Okay? Do you guys think you'd be willing to work on something 10,000 iterations before you find success? Yeah, most people wouldn't, but he did. Okay? Colonel Sanders, KFC, is my other favorite example. Who's eaten at KFC? I have. Okay? He got 1,009 no's for his recipe at age 63 before someone gave him a shot to open his first restaurant. 1,009. Most people would say, okay, we're at 999. We're going to give it one more shot. We're going to give it one more try. And if 1,000 fails, we're going to quit. But he didn't. He stuck with it. So you have to learn to love to fail. That's the only true path to success. Fail, 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 and then don't actually give up. And you'll make it. You'll make it. And as you're failing, and as you're trying stuff, and as you're trying to figure out and navigate this world, you need to make sure you ask for help. This is one thing that a lot of young people are terrified of. I used to be terrified of it. I still am to a certain degree. But there are people in this world who have learned and have done the stuff that you're trying to do right now. Get into college. Figure out what you want to do. Be successful in trade school, community college, whatever. Find mentors in your life. There are people who had these same struggles. I had these same struggles. Your teachers had these same struggles. And they want to help you. It makes us as humans feel the best if we can help people who are trying to do this stuff and struggle through the stuff that we have already done ourselves. Help is there, but you have to ask for it. Ask for nothing and you receive nothing, guys. If you ask for the world, if you ask for help on this huge quest that you are on, again, it doesn't matter what it is. Whatever you're working on, whatever you're doing, help is there. You have to make sure you ask for help. Ask for help. And this is a tough one, okay? Because I remember what it was like to be a junior. How many seniors are in here? How many seniors? Yeah, seniors? Raise them high. Be proud. You guys only have one final year left. Great. I remember what it's like to be a senior, okay? Thought I was awesome. Made it through high school. Congratulations, all that type of stuff. But the real work is in front of you guys, all right? There is no one, back to story time, that person that you thought of, who you look up to, famous celebrity, people you want to emulate in your life, whoever it is. There was no one who has reached that type of success without working stupidly hard. Stupidly hard. You have to work hard. I see the student over here doing homework during this. I'm sure you've been working hard, I'm sure you've been studying so much in order to be on this course to be a biological researcher, which I think is a great goal. But you have to work hard. There's so many people who are going to teach you today. I'm sure you see the ads on YouTube and on the internet that say, I can teach you this get-rich-quick thing. You don't have to work very hard. It's an overnight success if you just buy this thing. Who's seen ads like that? Who's seen ads like that? Yep. Do you guys believe that? Yeah, no way. Because then we would all be super successful. And I wouldn't have to be here to talk about this. It would just be easy. You guys would already know. What are you doing here? I already know how to do this. I'm already doing it, right? I'm already outsourcing all these services and figuring out how I can become an entrepreneur, and I'm still in high school, right? It's not easy. You have to work hard. Everyone who we have ever talked about in terms of success has worked crazy hard to get to where they are. So if you're doing the right thing, if you are trying to make meaning, if you're following your heart, if you're paying attention to what you actually like, you can be in a situation where this actually feels good. It's called work-life integration. your life and your work are combined. You're actually working on stuff that you like. So putting in a lot of hard work is not that hard, actually. So that's what you have to figure out, and you have to put in the work. And this is the final slide. Because what you think about, more than who you hang out with, and in a lot of ways more than what you actually do, because this is the precursor to what you do, what you believe in, what you see in your mind, this thing between your ears. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. You have to believe that whatever you're trying to do, make the varsity your senior year. I know that's probably a little different here, but get into that school that you want, or work for that business that you want, or get another job this coming summer, or whatever it is. Win some award, score a bunch of points next year, whatever it is. You have to believe. It starts with you and your brain and your belief that you're going to be able to do it. Because if you walk into the gym and you're like, oh, I'm not going to be able to run that mile today, you probably won't be able to run that mile today. But if you start with the vision that you're going to do it, you're going to be successful, and that no matter what, you're going to put in the work and you're going to make sure you accomplish it. If you believe that it's going to happen, you're most likely going to put in all the effort that you need to do in order to make sure that belief comes true. So it starts with that. And right back to who you hang out with and how you spend your time. If you believe first, if you know that this thing is going to come true, and you work hard, you deploy that execution, it's going to happen. But this is why it's the final slide. It's the most important thing. You have to be confident that you can actually do it. So who has questions? Who has questions? Sorry, yeah.
You said believe first. Why did you put it at the last slide?
Because during a presentation, you will remember what I started with and what I finished with the most. You will remember this more than any other slide because I finished it. Because it generates conversation after it. You're asking a question about it. But if I put it at slide 3, you probably would have already forgotten about it. And you'd be asking about something else. So you'll remember it the most if it's at the end. What else? What questions do you guys have about the most common thing I get? Yeah. So I started putting videos on YouTube earlier this year. It's been less than a year. I've done about 70. It's mostly for how to be successful as an engineer in college, but that can be applied to anyone. Because if you can be successful in engineering and use that to whatever you're studying, it can be applied to anything. So, questions. The most common thing I get is, how do I figure out what I actually want to do for the rest of my life? What do you got? What do you got? So, I went to University of Delaware, 4 years civil engineering, and then I graduated in that housing bubble that you guys, I'm sure, have heard about, the housing recession, 2008, 2009, and then went on to grad school in the Midwest, and then ended up working for a Canadian company. Just got back from Western Canada for 4 years. So I just studied it in college. I've been working professionally for about 8 years. So, and I'm still trying to figure out all that. Every day I learn new things, so.
When did you figure out what you wanted to do, and how many other things did you think you wanted to pursue but ended up changing?
Yeah, great question. This is actually the most common question I get. Is how did you know? How did you know that whatever you're doing now, how did you know that was your thing? For me, my dad was a carpenter, and I grew up in Chestertown in Kent County, just north of here. So I'm from here. This is why I'm here. So I want to help everyone who is a part of this world. The Eastern Shore of Maryland. My dad was a carpenter, so I kind of had that civil engineers attached to buildings and bridges and things. But really, it was just again through hummingbirding and experimenting. I played lots of video games, and I loved SimCity, right? And then I built stuff. I played with Legos. I had ant colonies, and I would kind of just envision this world where building stuff and things working together, and just how can I have that for my career? So I chose engineering for that. But I changed, I had my major set up for one type of engineering, and I changed it last minute because I just had this gut feeling. So I don't know how, but I was messing with car stereos. I was wiring my friend's systems when I was your age, right? That was my thing. So I thought I wanted to do electrical engineering, and then I switched because I just had this feeling that I wanted to do kind of what my dad was doing. So, but the only way to know is you have to actually do stuff. You have to think, this is what I tell people, you have to think about if you like to watch movies, if you like to look at websites, whatever you spend your time, like audit your life. Look at what you are interested in. What are you excited about? Like, why do you spend the time doing the stuff that you do? Like, within those dots, if you connect all those dots, that's what you like the most. And it may change, it'll probably evolve, but if you start out in some category that you don't really associate with, like in your heart, then you're not going to be able to connect the dots in the best way. So you have to just think about, like, audit your life, become self-aware. Why is it that I've been looking at cat videos for 3 hours? Like, maybe I deep down want to be a veterinarian. I don't know, right? You have to just like look at your life. So it's a very, very common question though, so I love that. What other questions do you guys have? About how to choose the right school, how to actually get excited about some sort of career, other things that you can be doing on the side to be successful. What do you guys got? I know you got some questions.
I'll put one out there.
Yeah.
Instead of being quiet. Can you talk more about your connections and how that has opened up the doors for some of the opportunities that you've had?
Totally, great, thank you, yeah. So I may have mentioned this already, but I didn't have the best grades in school. Was not the best student. If I didn't position myself with smart kids in class and want to be friends with them, it wasn't going to work out for me. And likewise, to get into grad school or to get job opportunities, like every job I've ever applied to, everyone. When I in 2011, when I got my first job, I applied to 60. The only places that I got offers for is because I had relationships with people in that office. I had built human relationships through communication and spending time with awesome people, and they got to know, it's the three: know, like, and trust you. If they know you, over time they might like you, and over time they will trust you enough to give you opportunities. Here, come be a part of my team. Come be a part of my thing. Come volunteer with my organization, right? It's the relationships in this world that will create the best opportunities for you. Because otherwise, you're just a name on a piece of paper on some resume. And, you know, it's a tough conversation in a high school, but grades will only get you so far. You have to get good enough grades, but it's the other stuff. It's what you're building and working on the side and the relationships that you fuse on the side. These are the things that create the most success for you. So I love that question. Thank you. What else you guys got? I love questions. Questions are where you can actually give like one-on-one advice.
Why did you decide to go into YouTube?
Good question. So on the very beginning, there was a slide of me with my arm around some student who was 15. He reached out to me because I was doing all this drone video stuff in Western Canada. He reached out to me because he needed a mentor for this one-year project. And I was kind of mentoring some people from afar. But I pretty much, throughout that 1 year, fell in love with this process of like helping some young student who's half the age of myself become successful. I kind of fell in love with it. And I was making wedding videos and real estate videos and drone video, and I kind of combined the two about a year ago. Started making videos about mentorship. And it's been cool. People don't realize it, but I'm a good example of the show your work thing, where I've gotten opportunities like this. I've gotten opportunities to speak. I just spoke at Drexel, a school in Philly, because they found my YouTube channel. They would have never known about this interest in this stuff if I wasn't showing the work. So, good question. But I encourage all of you. That's why the show your work slide was number 4. You got to share what you're working on. You got to share what you're up to. If you're generating value to this world, there's always someone who's like just behind you, 1 year earlier than you, that you can inspire and you can help them. You can teach them, and it feels good to do that. Not to mention you're going to get opportunities. You're showing your ambition. You're showing your creativity. So many people have life-changing things that happen to them because they put content on the internet. So do it. Don't be afraid. Anybody else? Questions? So that's my YouTube channel. I make custom videos for people all the time. If you have a question, I can make a video for you guys, okay? Because if you guys have that question, most commonly other students have that question, all right? So this is how you can find me. I'm going to make sure Ms. Friesen doesn't let you guys forget how to find this. But all the stuff I made about 70 for engineering students in just this year alone. About half of them are direct questions. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I didn't know that. I remember trying to figure that out. So it can be, it's called the curse of knowledge. You forget what you didn't know at one point. So this is why it's fun to actually make stuff to help people because you actually like forget. You forget about the little struggles. But you guys living it, you're doing it right now. You don't forget, right? So reach out and make a video for you guys. And you guys have been an awesome audience. If you have any more questions, I'm sure your teachers will figure out how to get connected with me. And I'd love to help you guys out. So thank you. Hey, 1% Nation. I hope you enjoyed that footage from the talk I gave at Wye River Upper School. If you did, consider subscribing because I release videos 2 times a week for engineering success. Comment below if you have a question and I can make a video just for you. And thanks again for watching the 1% Engineer Show, guys, and stay hungry on your quest to become a 1% engineer. Cheers!